We're taking a look at the new Wuben X2 Pro today, and I'm going to answer for you whether or not this flashlight is just another EDC throw-in, or is there something more to this flashlight and seriously worth considering as your next EDC. First and foremost, let us know what you're carrying in your pockets today down in the comments, and I will have links to this flashlight down below in the description. It was on a Kickstarter, but it is now available, and you can pick this up in a couple different varieties through their website and through Amazon. I will have them both linked down below. That way you can try to find the best price. We're going to get to that here in a few moments, but let's get to a couple of things that we need to clear up in regards to the X series family. Now, I didn't bring out the X1 because that's not really an EDC flashlight. That's more around the house type of a deal. But we do have a nice little set here of the X series family with the X3, and we have the X2, and then two of the X2 Pros. Now, one is a final production, which is this one here, and this is a prototype. Now, I have had the prototype for weeks and weeks at this point, but this will be the first time anyone is seeing it, at least here on this channel. Now, you can see the differences, and we're going to touch on the changes that the X2 has went through to become the X2 Pro. And I find that the upgrades to the X2 Pro are definitely significant in comparison to anything else in Wuben's line, along with almost everything else that is on the market right now currently, and we're going to get to why. I'll have the X3, and I think the X2 is going to be phased out. I don't think you can pick up the original X2 anymore. You might be able to. If I can find it, I will have that link down below as well. But the X3 here, I do have a video out on this, and I'll try to link it down below. Very popular flashlight, and a nice little flashlight. But let's get to the X2 Pro here and a couple of the differences. Now, there is one caveat to this. My tail switch is not currently working. I do have another one on the way. This will be a first look at these flashlights. We'll do a more in-depth video on these at a later date when I have everything that I need to have, but that is an asterisk there. Mine is kind of a prototype switch, and it doesn't work with either of the flashlights properly. It does work, but it don't work properly. The connection is not the best. Now, I do have a couple of accessories that you can choose to pick up when you go and get your X2 Pro. Now, you might be wondering if there's a difference. There are two different models. There's a UV model, and then there's an RGB model, and I do have one of each here. This will be the this is the RGB model here, which we need to unlock it, and I can show you that here. And very cool and very easy to use these flashlights once you are paying attention. You have a slider switch here, which is, this is completely locked out all the way down. And then you have a middle selection, which is going to be your auxiliary light that does have, I think it's 45 degree, but basically if you have this magnetized, you can adjust that light to fit kind of what you're doing, which is a really nice touch from Wuben. You can access that, and then this dial here rotates back and forth, and that'll come into play with every setting on the flashlight. But in this case, it's going to rotate through all your different colors there, which is really cool. Now, you can go back, hold that down, and that'll switch you to your headlight there, or your auxiliary light, and it'll let you know when it is at the top and at the bottom. As we scale up, it'll blink eventually and let you know, hey, this is at the top out, which is a nice feature to have. And same on the way back down. you'll see it blink and let you know, hey, you're at the lowest this thing is going to go. Now, before I turn this on, look at the lights in this thing. Everything is a little bit different, and that is all for various reasons. They all do a little something different. You have a floodlight in there, you have a throw light in there, and all those work together to eventually give you a nice, bright, wide, and pretty throwy beam. And you can see the difference here between the original X2 and the X2 Pro. The X2 original, everything was operated under this switch here. That is where you charged it, and that is where you activated it. A very solid light, in my opinion. I like the X2 a lot, but the X2 Pro is going to give you features that this just didn't offer, and it's going to be at a surprising price. And if you don't know, wait till you hear the price of this flashlight. You're going to be able to pick them up for well under 65 bucks. The full retail is 65, and I haven't seen them at that price yet. On Amazon, they're 30% off. On their website, they were like 50 bucks. So that was the last time I looked. That is liable to change for the better or for worse. At the time you are seeing this, it will definitely depend on when you're watching this video, but I believe those hold true even now to while I'm recording this. 30% off 65, which will drop that well down, probably close to 50 bucks off the top of my head, and then same on the website. But you can see as we scale this up with this wheel, it'll activate all these lights and eventually go all the way through. So you have just your throw light, you have just your floodlight, and then you can have a combination of both, which is really, really cool. Now, I'll get to some of the specs and stuff like that here in a moment, but I do want to talk about the most important feature of this flashlight to me personally. You can lock this tail switch out. My original prototype, which I don't, it's not a huge deal at all, didn't actually lock out. This was something they were testing back then. I just turned it on. But that is something they were testing, so it don't work on this one. But you can see in the final production, it is working when it is locked out. You can slide that forward, and then that will pop that tail cap open, which is really nice. Now, what we have inside here are two 920 14500 batteries, and if these look familiar, it is because they're the same size as a AA. And not only can you use the rechargeable batteries here, but you can also use AA batteries in here. So very, very nice when it comes to having the ability to use some different batteries, because not only can you get these rechargeable 14500s and have a couple of these, but you can use any AA that you find in a remote or laying around to power this. I think that is a huge game changer to have that battery diversity with this light here. There's a little look at the internals. Everything's going to be really well done from Wuben. They do a great job on their flashlights. I've been using that X3 every day for almost the last year, and it's great. I've only had to charge it a handful of times. I'm only using it, a minute at a time or whatever, but this flashlight hasn't left this desk, and it's been in the sun. It's been in the extreme cold, extreme heat, and the thing just continues to work very, very well. So that is a testament to Wuben doing some solid work over there. Now, a couple of the add-ons that they have, and they're very inexpensive, from the tactical tail switch here, which this thing just slides on here, and then just gives you the ability to activate this without using the wheel. I'll demonstrate it here, but we got to turn it on. I'll demonstrate it, but it's probably not going to, See if it'll work or not. Yeah, it's not even going to work. I thought it might turn on for a second. It's been flickering, and the button itself is no good. But like I said, I will be doing a video on the tactical tail switch and a more in-depth video on the X2. It does come with the tail switch that you can buy aftermarket and put onto here. That gives you the ability to just use the light with that tail switch, which is cool, and they're pretty inexpensive. You can also get this red cone here, which will kind of give you a... What is going... Oh, did it die on me? No way. Oh, I don't have the batteries in it. They're in my hand. Well, I guess that's the perfect time to show you guys and gals that this thing not only will work off the rechargeables and AA's, but it'll also work off just one. So even if you just have one of these that are charged or one AA that has a charge, you can use that. Now, you're not going to get the full benefits out of everything, but it is going to work, and you will have a flashlight. So that is pretty cool, and it doesn't matter which bay you have it in there. As you can see, there's the other one, and that is really, really smart by Wuben. More companies need to get on board with this. If you are using some form of external rechargeable battery like this, the ability to use a AAA, a CR123, a AA, stuff like that is a huge deal to me. And I think it is to many other people as well. I think it's a huge deal. For the switch, like I said, this don't work right. We should be able to get it to turn on though. There you can see it'll turn on nice and easy. We put the cone on. That'll give you like a lantern type look to it. And then obviously as we make it brighter, whichever way. Oh, it must be staying wherever you have it. Let's take that off for now. So as you go up, this lantern effect will get brighter, which is really cool, or it'll change altogether. So you can change it up, have a lot, have a little bit, and these are like $1 or $2, something very, it's just a piece of silicone, I believe. And then they have what I am going to be using this summer here, a detachable bicycle clip. Now, I'm not going to set that up in this video or set this up, but you will be able to easily attach this to a bicycle or some sort of handlebar that you can fit this mechanism around and then easily take this on and off of that clip. So very cool. And they do offer, as I said, this white gray version and the black. They also offer the RGB version, which is here. And then they also offer the UV version, which you see there. That is non-adjustable. That is a standard. It's a straight whatever it is. I think I forget. But you can't adjust that, in other words. But the wheel, I think, is really cool. Like I said, I've been using this one it's been right before Christmas, about a week before Christmas, I would say. So a better part of 3 weeks or so. So everything seems to be holding up very well. You do have the adjustable light, and the prototype, it was kind of tight, which I didn't mind that it was this tight. You had to actually want to move it, kind of. This one's quite a bit easier, but I don't know that it'll matter, because, if you're using that, you're going to adjust it and kind of leave it where it needs to be, right? So I don't think that matters, whether it moves real freely or if you have to really get in there. And they might vary, but one is easier than the other, but like I said, I don't think that's a big deal. The power switch or the slide switch works very good. You can feel each spot that you are going to. It has nice texture on it. The wheel has really nice texturing on it. And also, you can use just the... Can we use... No, we can't. For some reason, it must be just with... Hold on. I want to see something. Yes. Okay. So it's just with the main headlight. You don't have to use the wheel. You can, but if you want to just hold down, it'll actually cycle you through all the modes and give you turbo off a double click, and then a triple click should be strobe. Oh, no, it's not. Oh, there might not be a strobe on this one. Or there might be, and I just don't know what it is. The other huge plus to these is that they're IP68 rated. So they're rated very high for dust, dust resistance, dirt and dust, and then water resistance. Pretty high on both, which was and is a downfall on some of the other flashlights that are out there that I really like, and but they just have a very poor rating when it comes to the IP rating, and that's something I really look for. I want my flashlight that I'm going to use every day to be tough and resistant to the elements and be tested against those elements, and these flashlights are, which is a huge plus to me. Between the IP rating, the ability to use several different kinds of batteries, from rechargeable to regular alkaline to lithium, and the ability to only use one of those is a huge deal to me. Then you add in, you can choose whether you want something a little bit more hip with the RGB, or do you want to go with something a little bit more utilitarian. You could go with the UV, and you're just going to have a solid EDC flashlight here, in my opinion, and that is going to answer the question. I think this flashlight at the price point of $50 to $60, this is impressive as all hell. Nice pocket clip. I do wish it carried a little bit deeper, but I think we'll get there eventually, and it's pretty good. It's not too bad at all. It gives you just enough poking out that you can, it works pretty good. You can just get your finger on there to pull this thing directly out of the pocket or the pouch or whatever, but the clip works really good. Good tension, and it's nice and wide, so this thing isn't going anywhere. Really well done. A few small nitpicks that I think, they have worked out over time. Since I got this, I had some small nitpicks, and they have worked them out. That is about my only nitpick left, is, or at least until I get the new tail switch and see what's going on. But if this carried just a little bit deeper, man, it's a home run, but that would make it even better. But at the price point of $50-ish for the X2 Pro, I'd put this almost at the top, number one, for an inexpensive EDC flashlight, ahead of companies like Nightcore and others. That is pretty impressive from Wuben, in my opinion. You'll have to let me know, what do you think of the new X2 Pro? Love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. That helps push the video to more people. If you're new to my channel, hit the subscribe button. I release daily videos just like this. Make sure you ring the bell. That'll notify you anytime I do release new content. And I'll put a couple of new videos up on your screen. Go check one of them out. Have an awesome day. Thank you all again for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.